Welcome to Lesson 4 of the Daily AI Tools series. This is the one that pays for itself before the week is out. AI-assisted coding is the daily writing flow. Tab completion, inline edits, multi-file refactors. By the end of this lesson, you'll have the reflex baked in: accept, reject, or refine, called in half a second. 4 keys, every commit. That's the muscle we're building. Here's the map for the next 12 minutes. Skill 1, tab completion triage. Most suggestions are noise, and the half-second call to accept, reject, or refine is where the hours come back. Skill 2, Cmd-K inline edits. Highlight, describe, done. The most underused key in Cursor and Copilot. Then we scale up. Multi-file composer flow for coordinated edits across 4 files in one prompt, and the refactor patterns AI nails, plus the 3 it reliably botches. So let's start with the triage itself. Every tab completion suggestion lands in one of 3 buckets, except with tab, when it's exactly what you'd type anyway, boilerplate, the obvious closing brace, a standard loop. Reject with esc when the approach is wrong, or when the logic looks plausible but you can't verify it. That second one is the trap. And refine with Cmd-K when it's 80% right, but the specifics are off. Half a second. No deliberation. 3 real cases from a typical service file. Case 1, a Prisma find unique call. It matches the repo style exactly, so tab and move on. Case 2 looks fine until you notice user not found error doesn't exist in your code base. That's the plausible but wrong trap. Esc, type the real one. Case 3, the AI runs ahead with 30 lines of caching and retry logic. Directions right, scopes wrong. Cmd-K, narrow the prompt. Basic try-catch, no caching, done. That last fix used Cmd-K, and honestly, it's the most underused key in your editor. Highlight the lines, describe the change, AI rewrites in place, sync to async, wrap in try-catch, call back to promise, add types. Mental model. Tab completion writes new code, Composer handles multi-file refactors, Cmd-K surgically edits what's already there. If you're opening chat to tweak 5 lines, you're doing it wrong. Now scale that thinking up. Composer is where AI stops being a code completer and becomes a senior multiplier. The loop is 4 steps. Pull the relevant files into context, describe the cross-file change in plain English, model, migration, API, test, then review the diff file by file, apply, and run the tests. Green, done in 2 minutes. Red, roll back, refine the prompt, retry. Don't paste code in. Reference files directly so the AI sees them all at once. Here's the rule that saves you hours. AI nails mechanical refactors, renames, extracts, sync to async, call back to promise, adding types, style cleanup, pattern in, pattern out. But it botches semantic ones, splitting a service, optimizing without a profiler, patching security. Those need domain judgment and system context. AI predicts patterns. Architecture is intentional. Hand it the mechanical work, keep the semantic calls for yourself. Once the basics are reflex, 6 moves take you from AI user to AI native. Anchor it with a type signature before it writes the body. Now it generates against a contract. Drop a comment as a prompt, the fastest in-editor instruction there is. Open a similar file in another tab so it mimics your style. Kill AI in sensitive spots with Cmd plus Shift plus P, mention files instead of pasting, and hover on suggestions for 2 seconds. That read catches half the hallucinations before you accept. Here's the whole vocabulary on 1 page, 12 moves, your daily flow. Tab and esc for triage, Cmd-K or Cmd-I for inline edits, Cmd-L for chat, Cmd-Shift-I for composer. Then the context layer, a file name, a web, a similar file open nearby, a type signature or comment to anchor intent. And the discipline, half-second triage on every suggestion, run tests after every composer pass. Screenshot it, pin it, drill it until your fingers know it. Now the flip side. The 5 mistakes that turn all this into a drain. Auto-accepting without reading ships, bugs at the speed of thought. Letting AI write code you can't explain hands you a liability. Opening chat when Cmd-K would have finished it 5 times faster. Editing 4 files by hand instead of letting Composer see them as one task. And forgetting that AI hallucinates imports and function names, even after you know better. Spot these in yourself. That's the whole fix. So here's how you build the reflex. 3 exercises, 30 minutes total. First, a 10-minute triage drill. Open a real file, watch every tab suggestion, and tally accept, reject, refine. Most devs find 60% should be reject. That number alone trains the eye. Then, 1 hour with no chat panel. Everything goes through tab or Cmd-K. Finally, pick one real feature touching 3 to 5 files and let Composer handle it end to end. That third one is where AI stops being autocomplete and starts being a pair programmer. That's lesson 4 locked in. Tab, ESC, Cmd-K for triage, inline edits over chat. Composer when it touches more than one file, and always mechanical beats semantic. Next up, lesson 5, AI code review. Catching bugs before humans do, using the senior reviewer's workflow. See you in the next one.